This your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. I'm sorry if my dog barks, but I wanted to give a quick post-fight breakdown. Stephen Coolboy Fulton, Inoue. The fight was crazy. I did a breakdown yesterday. I said if there was going to be a stoppage, it would be on the side of Inoue. That was a bit obvious considering the fact that he has like an 87% knockout ratio. He is a violent puncher, can create lots of power and leverage from little to no. He can just get a bunch of leverage on his shots. I said best case scenario for Fulton, be on the outside, mix it up from time to time, get back behind the jab, use lateral movement, and just really mix it up. At range to mid-distance was going to be his best opportunity to get this done, but that was not to be the case. I want to tell you 3 things that Inoue was able to do to completely shut down Steph and Fulton. Here's the reality of the situation. Great fighters make great fighters. Coolboy Fulton is a great fighter, 21-0. He only had 8 knockouts, but unified champ, and been in there with some good guys and came out on top. Ridiculous skill set, good speed, good vision. And I'm going to get into something he did really well despite getting stopped in 8 rounds. So before I get into that, the first thing Inoue did to really set up the knockout in the 8th round is the jab to the body. I think through 4, he landed like 105 jabs or something like that. But the jab to the body took away, or begun to take away, the legs of Fulton. The second thing that Inoue did was when Fulton attempted to use lateral movement, whether it was trying to set up offense or just be defensively responsible, Inoue did a beautiful job of not just cutting off the ring, but landing hooks on both sides of the ears. It didn't need to be a landing shot. He was taking away the opportunity or the willingness to want to move laterally if you're Fulton. He made him a stationary target with his ability to cut off the ring and then land power to both sides of the head and make Fulton live, 1 at mid-distance, 2 right in front of him. So last but not least, if you hear my dog growling, my bad. Last but not least for Inoue, what he did was fighting off rhythm. Oftentimes with that jab to the body, it would be off rhythm. Fulton would want to be in front. He would want to stand in range and start getting comfortable enough to let his hands go. Then you see Inoue go to the body with the jab, then go upstairs. Later in the fight, start getting a left hook off on Fulton. But anytime Fulton was just about to get comfortable, off rhythm goes Inoue, and he presented another complexity for Fulton to have to download, digest, decipher, and then try to counteract. But it was too much speed, too much power, too much Inoue. Now, honestly, Fulton got cooked. He lost from pillar to post and got stopped. But there's something he did really, really well, and it speaks to the greatness of Inoue. His hand placement and his ability to catch and parry shots from Inoue was spectacular. Yeah, he got stopped, but a lot of the early shots he was catching beautifully, timing really beautifully, and really keeping a good account of himself. When Inoue steps on the gas, he is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. And I don't like pound-for-pound list, but I think if you think about the best 10 to 12 fighters on the planet Earth today, he's one of the ones who's now separated himself from me. And I said this yesterday when I did the breakdown, the mini breakdown video. If he ran through Fulton, he's established himself as one of the best fighters regardless of weight class. He moved up to this weight class. He weighed in at 121, so a little bit under the limit. He moved up this weight class, and he made it look easy. He started the shit talking around round 2, and he felt very confident, very comfortable. His head movement was impeccable. I can't think of an area where he struggled. There's a couple times where he kind of fell asleep behind the wheel, got hit with some good right hands from Fulton. But like we know, Fulton doesn't carry a lot of power. He needed to box beautifully, be perfect, pitch a shutout, which I mentioned yesterday. He was unable to do so. He got stopped. Inoue is the real deal. I think the power goes up another weight class from 122 to 26, possibly to 30. He does have a slight frame, so I might be asking too much. But his ability to close the distance with foot speed, now he's shown a really educated jab despite having a shorter arm length. Maybe he continues to climb that ladder and become one of the greats in the sport. One of the things I found fascinating in the telecast, there was a lot of dead time. So we had to listen to Tim Bradley, Mark Kriegel, and Joe Tessitore kind of BS around about their thoughts on the fight. One of the things they kept mentioning, especially Tim Bradley, was the reach advantage of 3 inches that Fulton had over Inoue, and it was a complete non-factor. And the only reason I bring that up is because all of a sudden with Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford, we've fallen in love with the idea that Bud Crawford has a 2-inch reach advantage in X, Y, and Z. And guys who know how to fight and box and implement their game plan, they can take away your physical gifts. And that's what Inoue did. Fulton couldn't land a jab to save his life. He really couldn't. The foot speed, the movement, the things that he was able to do well took away the physical advantages that he had, and they were limited. 3-inch reach advantage is not significant, in my opinion, at the highest level of the sport. He was a bigger guy, but he did not have the power that Inoue had, even though Inoue was coming up. And the explosiveness to get inside and hurt and damage individuals is not something that Steph Fulton has ever demonstrated before in his career. I appreciate the work of Inoue in this particular fight because he showed different wrinkles. He showed that he respected Fulton's ability to box because he came in himself, didn't take a bunch of stupid, unnecessary risks. He boxed beautifully, established that I'm faster, I have better timing, my IQ might be a little higher. All right, cool. Now I can start to get off of more devastating stuff. So shout out to both combatants. Congratulations to Inoue. Shout out to Japan. Super respectful crowd. We didn't have to worry about anything on the judges' scorecards because Inoue took care of that. I think Cool Boy Fulton will be back. I think it's hard at the highest level to be a world champion, and you can't get guys off you. At some point in time, you got to be able to pop a dude. Cass talked about Floyd Mayweather. Oh, he don't have no power, blah, 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 blah. But when he was sticking you with that right hand and he was stopping your momentum, jab upstairs, jab to the body, these were tough shots. Was he brutally knocking people out and they were falling all out of the ring? No. But he carried power at the welterweight division, so much so, you had to reconsider your approach when you were fighting him. Fulton, up against the elite fighters, and I know Inoue, he's pound for pound right now, in my opinion. Not pound for pound #1, but he is on that list. I think we've been devoid of a pound for pound #1 fighter on the planet since Floyd left. At me if you like, that's cool. Cats talk about Canelo. They talked about Alexander Usyk, which I think is pretty eligible, and Terrence Bud Crawford, obviously. But the conversation is still a big one. Who's pound for pound? Right now, I think that picture is still muddied, but he's in that conversation, that being Inoue. He might be top 6 in there. Climbing the ladder, this is his 4th weight class where he's captured the title, and he's making it look easy. That's what great fighters do. Great fighters make great fighters, and when you can make a great fighter look damn near silly, then you on to something. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Let me know if you guys were up. I watched it. The main event aired around like 4:40. I was up at 4, and like I said, you had to listen to Mark Kriegel and Tim Bradley and those guys talk. And I think they got beef, by the way. You heard it here first. I think they got beef. Let me know what you guys think. It is, today's Tuesday. We are just days away from Spence Crawford. More heat to come on that. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. We out.